Takashi Murakami is a renowned Japanese contemporary artist who has gained international acclaim for his vibrant and often provocative works that bridge the gap between fine art and commercial culture. Born in Tokyo in 1962, Murakami is the founder of the Superflat Movement, which draws heavily on Japanese pop culture, anime, and traditional Japanese art, blending these elements to create a unique and dynamic aesthetic. His art is characterized by its bright colors, bold patterns, and the frequent use of playful yet sometimes unsettling characters. Murakami's work often explores themes of consumerism, the commodification of art, and the intersection of high and low culture. His iconic characters, such as the smiling flowers and the mischievous Mr. D.O.B., have become symbols of his style and are instantly recognizable beyond his paintings and sculptures. Murakami has collaborated with major fashion brands like Louis Vuitton, bringing his art into the realm of luxury goods and further blurring the lines between art and commerce. With exhibitions in some of the world's most prestigious museums and galleries, Takashi has established himself as one of the most influential artists of his generation, continuously pushing the boundaries of what art can be and how it interacts with the broader cultural landscape. Murakami was born on February 1st, 1962. His father was a taxi driver and his mother was a homemaker. It was actually his mother that sparked his initial interest in the arts as she studied needlepoint and designed textiles. Born and raised in Tokyo from a very early age, he was a big fan of Japanese anime and manga and had dreams of working in the animation industry. His parents would often have him write reviews on various exhibitions, and if he refused, he was forced to go to bed without dinner. The tragedy of World War II strongly affected Murakami growing up, as his mother would eventually tell him that if the US had dropped another bomb, he would not have been born. The omnipresence of the devastation following the events of World War II had a huge influence on his work going forward. Although he had appreciation of both traditional Japanese art and modern European art, Japanese animation had the most influence on him during his formative years. A major part of his works are actually dedicated to the otaku audience, which is a subculture centered around apocalyptic and fetishized imagery. He would go on to attend the Tokyo University of the Arts, majoring in the Nihanga, a traditional style of Japanese painting that incorporates traditional Japanese artistic conventions, techniques, and subjects. He would eventually graduate with his master's degree in 1988, then with his PhD in 1993. By 1994, Murakami received a fellowship from the Asian Cultural Council and participated in the PS1 International Studio Program in New York City for a year. Here, he was exposed to and inspired by Western contemporary artists such as Jeff Koons and Ansem Kiefer. It was around this time where Murakami experienced a breakthrough in his career. He decided to re-engage with his Japanese identity by combining his roots in Nihanga along with the popular culture forms of anime and manga. Prior to his departure from New York, Murakami came up with a figure known as Mr. D.O.B., which would go on to become one of his signature motifs. In 1996, in order to produce his otaku-inspired sculptures, Murakami founded the Hiropon Factory.
Everything came from the Star Wars stuff. Lucas released for the making video. I was learning for oh my God, this is a process. Okay, director is making for the scenario, the storyboard, and then shooting a film and editing. This is a process. Maybe like in a painting is much easier to lend it from the this system.
His factory was modeled on both traditional Japanese art workshops as well as Western contemporary artist Andy Warhol's factory. At Hiropon, assistants trained across various fields of expertise and would collaborate under his supervision to create large-scale and mass-marketed projects. By 2001, the Hiropon factory would evolve into what's now known as the Kakai Kaki Company, headquartered in Tokyo with offices in New York City. By 2000, he created a style which emphasized two-dimensional forms and bold imagery, which gave birth to an artistic movement known as Superflat.
I'm the geek for the Japanese animation stuff, and also the American sci-fi stuff. For example, Star Wars, the first sequence is completely 3D, right? So, but the Japanese sci-fi stuff is, kind of that, moving, completely, different. So my visual philosophy came from the very naturally to making a flatness.
The theory was birthed due to his search of a post-war Japanese identity, straying away from the typical Japanese contemporary art of the time. He presented the theory in a group exhibition featuring his own works, as well as other Japanese artists such as Yoshitomo Nara and Aya Takano, among others. The theory soon swept across the art world, becoming a movement in Japanese contemporary art. In 2002, he began a multi-year collaboration with Marc Jacobs on a redesign for the Louis Vuitton monogram. He was able to successfully incorporate his own unique aesthetic to go along with the brand. The collab elevated his status in Japan, but also raised the value of his art that became highly sought after in the West. But this marked only the beginning of his influence and reached within American pop culture. In 2007, Murakami would go on to design the dropout bear for Kanye West's album Graduation and directed an animated West video for the song Good Morning. He'd also work with West again in 2018 on the collab album with Kid Cudi, Kids See Ghosts, making the cover art. In 2009, producer Pharrell Williams would reveal a collaborative sculpture known as The Simple Things with Murakami at Art Basel, which Williams stated illustrates the metaphor of value. This piece would embody the artist's distinctive style and represents a sculptural form of Murakami's character, Mr. D.O.B. Inside Mr. D.O.B.'s wide open mouth, there are 7 everyday objects, jewel encrusted and personally selected by Pharrell Williams. Among those 7 objects are a can of Pepsi, Heinz ketchup, Johnson's baby lotion, a cupcake, a bag of Doritos, a Trojan condom, and a BBC sneaker. The wide open mouth evokes concepts of consumption, but also of protection and notably a treasure chest.
We were very shocked and laughing.
About you, like how much really...
Sorry, my dog is barking.
Okay.
So by the way, this is a painting
Oh,
for my bodybuilding show.
wow. When will this one be done?
Like just start.
So it's painting on top of screen printing.
Yep.
Wow.
Go on to collaborate with a number of other high-profile celebs such as Virgil Abloh, J Balvin, Billie Eilish, and many more. In 2018, Murakami and Abloh would collaborate on a series of artworks colliding the fashion and art world.
You guys are friends first, so how special is it for you guys to collaborate on this exhibit?
No, it's amazing. It's special in the way that we're linking sort of 2 generations within the practice of making art, you know. We both have an admiration for each other's work, and these exhibitions that we're doing are a series of collections of artwork that we're, you know, inspired by the current moments to sort of put on display and exhibit.
Just amazing. Nice timing this is. Yeah, he making us history now. So just I lie down.
No, you're the bigger history.
No.
As part of Murakami's portfolio, one of his most recognizable characters are the smiling flowers, which can be seen throughout the pop culture zeitgeist. It's been seen on album covers such as J Balvin's Colores, decor such as pillows and rugs, jewelry made by Ben Baller, clothing, and much more. The flower has been a significant symbol in Japanese tradition. It is often associated with beauty, purity, and grace. For the rainbow-colored flowers, he explained in an interview that he used flowers as a motif to represent the natural cycle of life and death, and in 2005, he revealed in New York Times that his rainbow smiling flowers were a manifestation of the repressed emotions and collective trauma experienced by Japanese residents after the 1945 Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, the most tragic event to happen in Japan history. In 2020, Supreme collaborated with Murakami, incorporating the flowers with the brand's iconic box logo. It would also make an appearance with Uniqlo and Billie Eilish, serving as inspiration for her music video, You Should See Me in a Crown. Takashi Murakami is one of the most influential contemporary artists of this generation. Throughout his Superflat Movement and innovative blending of high and low culture, he has redefined the boundaries of art, creating a unique and vibrant visual language that resonates across the globe. His legacy continues to grow as he mentors new artists and expands his creative ventures into various fields, leaving an indelible mark on both the art world and popular culture.